Welcome back to the Director's Garage, Happy Hour Humpday Hangout. I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, as usual. We're back, and what can I tell you? Got some weird stuff happening this week. A little loud on the music, aren't we? Let's just nicker that down just a little bit more. There you go. That's better. How are you guys? Hey, cheers. We're halfway done. We're halfway through this week. And what's odd about this week for me is that I'm back in my office. We're kind of back in. They sort of have us in most of the time now. We skip weeks, but I have a lot of work to do at the studio, and then they gave us a space now for us to write in, which is great. But it's a PC, and the headphone jack on it is a little 3.5 millimeter jack, and I'm like, it's a very noisy jack, and I put headphones on it, and I'm trying all kinds of different headphones to find something that will work in my office environment. At the moment, I'm using the HD 820, which is the closed back Sennheiser, big ones, which I like. And I'm also using the Focus Pro because I have a little Bluetooth module that seems to be working okay. But if you move your head around a lot, you start getting like stuff cutting out and whatever. So, link failure. What's link failure? Is something not working, fellas? It says it's coming back just fine. I hope you're all right. Hope everybody's here. Well, I've got a bunch of viewers, so I'm going to guess that that's okay. So I'm going to continue on with this story. Well, and our viewers are going up by the dozen. All right. So anyway, I'm telling this story right now about how we're back in the office full time, and so I've got a PC at the desk, and it's got a a 3.5 jack on it, and so I'm currently. Somebody give me a little text real quick and tell me we're okay. Because it looks like we're okay. I just want to make sure we're okay. ML Jenkins, tell me you got us. I got a bunch of viewers here. I'm going to guess we're okay. I'm just going to keep going. So we're back in the office, and I've got so I'm trying to find a headphone that works on this thing. So I got the idea that maybe what I should do is get a portable DAC, and just have the DAC like off the. There we go. We're fine. Good. So all I wanted to do was, maybe have a little portable DAC off of the computer, off the PC, and then that way I can, I'll just bring any headphone I want in, like something like with a little amp in it, something that's really cool. So, I thought about it first, maybe bringing the Cavalli Tube Hybrid, which is this, because this has been sitting on my, I use this as a prop on my show to take images of headphones next to, because the tube kind of looks cool, and I put the little IEMs next to it, and it looks nice, but there's no DAC on this thing. It's just an amp. So I'm like, sure, that didn't work out. So I started looking around, and naturally, I'm like, I'm not going to go big because it's an office environment. It's not the end of the world. It could be it could be something that's a little bit pricey, but I want to be able to take it with me maybe. And I thought well, maybe a Firefly, like a Woo Firefly, getting on the Woo trick because of Adnan, and Adnan's not here yet, I don't think, but Adnan with his stupid Woo WA22 got me super Woo jealous. I was wellless, and I just wanted to. I'm like, I want, it would be really cool to get like a one of those Fireflies, the WA7. So I was like, I thought about that, and I thought, damn, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that Cord Hugo 2, because that would have been freaking perfect for that situation. And I could have just used the Hugo 2, which is, that's pretty good. That's bitching for an office setup. But I sold it, so that's not going to work. And so I wound up buying, and I'll tell you right now, because it's not going to be a reveal on the show. I bought a Woo Audio WA11 Topaz. Do you know the Topaz? Are you familiar with the Topaz? Okay, WU has 2 portable amps, and I'm going to show them to you now. Let's go live to the laptop, because we can, not because we should. Can I find the laptop? Where's the laptop? Where's the laptop at? That's the laptop. All right, so we'll go over here. And, oh, look at that. And it's still, got to bring the mic over. And it's still the WU lookup from last week when we were all lusting over Adnan's amazing WU WA22. So I went on Audio 46 and I started looking at what portable DACs they had. And what they have is this one right here, the WA11 Topaz, which has gotten really good reviews. Right? So I was thinking, okay, that's not, see if I can make sure the music's off. It is. So I thought, well, you know, the Topaz isn't the worst idea in the world. This is like, it's solid state, it's portable, it's light, but it's got a punch to it. And I also thought about maybe like a IDSD signature. I don't think I need something like the Diablo. That's a little overkill. But like, you know, the IDSD signature. But I decided on was this. Because it's got great internals, it's got huge power, and you can decode with it. So, and you can use it as a DAC, line in, all sorts of stuff. You know, it does typical. I mean, there's nothing like groundbreaking about the features on this thing. I just thought it was cool, and I thought it would be a good thing to have on the desktop in the event that I want to, you know, when I want to go to listen to good headphones at work. And I can output everything to that. So that's what I bought, and I ordered it through Audio 46, and it was like as an open box, so it's like it's going to come. It's a discount, so it's fine. You know, I don't care. It's something I'm going to throw in the bag. It's going to get trashed around. It doesn't need to be perfect. So, and nothing really needs to be perfect around. Nothing is exactly always dead on. Accurate. So that was what I bought. And the next thing you know, I get a notice that Audio 46 has a package. It'll be here tomorrow. And I'm like, wow, they're overnighting it. That's pretty cool. You know, thanks guys. I mean, they are good and they're good to me. So we you know, it's a good relationship and everything. So yesterday I was like so geeked because I ordered on Monday. It's going to be here on Tuesday. It's coming from New York. I'm like, damn. And of course I missed UPS. UPS, you know the worst feeling in the world is when you get home after, you know, like you're anticipating, like, yes, I'm gonna get the, you know, new thing's gonna be sitting there, and maybe I'll even shoot something with it, whatever, you know. I mean, the sky's the limit. And I got home, and you get the sticker on the door. You know, UPS, sorry we missed you. Like, not half as sorry as I am. So and then they're like, you know, go down to the UPS store and you can pick it up. And I'm like, well, great. So I go down to the UPS store and they're like, yeah, it's not going to be here till tomorrow morning. I'm like, why? This is my life. So the story keeps going here. Now, stay with me, guys, because this is actually it's even funnier. So this morning I get an email because I've got my UPS account set up that way that says, hey, your package is sitting at the UPS store. So I'm like, great. I got a little break in the morning, jumped in the car, drove from work over to the UPS store. I work, like, it's funny, my whole life is within like less than a mile of this house. Like everything's extremely local. I'm like extremely local guy. I travel everywhere, but I'm extremely local when it comes to practical and you know, I don't want to drive a lot. So I drive down to UPS, get the package, and now I'm excited because I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm at work. I'm going to get to test this out. I'll show it today on the show. It's going to be awesome. You know, make it like it's a good conversation piece. We can talk about it. And so, and I'm like, and then I started thinking like, we'll do like a whole portable audio thing. This could be really cool. So I'm driving back, and I'm driving down Ventura Boulevard. I've got my knee on the wheel steering while I've got my keys in this hand, and I'm just like cutting open the tape on the box in the passenger seat. I'm like, I am the most unsafe person on the planet right now, but I really want to see what's in this box. So I'm like cutting away the box, driving down the street, you know, trying not to hit anything, and And then, or in other words, I'm a typical LA driver at that moment. Only they're usually like putting on makeup or something. Okay, so and I open the box, and it's a headphone. It's what apparently Audio 46 sent me the next blind unboxing, along with the WA5. Like they went into the mail at the same time. One of them got overnighted, the other one got like 3-day. So now I've got this nice headphone like sitting on my passenger seat, and I'm like, what do I do with this? I'm like, it's supposed to be an amp. It's supposed to be a DAC amp. I'm like, now I've got this, and now I just trashed like the show that I want to do, an upcoming show, because I opened the box, so I know what's in it now. It's kind of like, well, the mystery's gone, the surprise is gone, and so that's my big mistake, is that I opened this box. I just thought it was the Woo thing. So then I got back to the office, and I looked up the invoice, and I cross-referenced the tracking number, and I'm like, yeah, it gets here tomorrow, dumbass. So that's what I did. I accidentally opened the box that was going to be one of my what's in the boxes. So now I know what it is. It's not going to be a surprise to me, and I can't really, I'm not going to fake it with you. I'm not good enough an actor to pull it off like, oh, what could this be? Like, yeah, right. But here's the good news. The next regular episode of the Director's Garage is like, it's mostly finished. I've got some B-roll to add, but that's pretty much it. I was gonna push through and get it out today, and I just decided I didn't want to be tired at work, so I went to bed instead of staying up till 4 in the morning finishing it. And that was just a self-preservation move on my part. But it's like all basically done. I've got everything ready to go with it. It's going to be a good episode. I'll give you a couple teases, because I can tell you a little bit about it, and it'll be out tomorrow probably. It's going to be a blind unboxing, Audio 46, and it's a double episode. It was one of those things where I opened the box, like pull something out, I'm like, wait a minute, there's still something more in here. It's like the second box. So it's good. It's a double unboxing, and they're both IEMs. I'll tell you that. So that's a big drop. I'm letting you in on what's going on. And right now, I really want to yell at Adnan, but Adnan's probably off listening to his WA22 instead of listening to this jackass, which is probably a better place to be. Did you guys see? I don't know if you guys were watching. Like last week, Adnan told us that he bought an amp, and then it got there this week, and he posted on Facebook the photo. It's a really nice, beautiful amp, gorgeous. So I was hoping he would be here to give us a little love and a little check-in. Cheers, everybody. How's it going? How's your week? How's everything going? What are you guys drinking? What's happening? We solved the link problem. At first I was like, wasn't sure we were live or not, and then it turns out we were. So everything's good there. I gave you that's my big update for the week in terms of like my drama. It was like the whole drama was like I wanted to find something to use that was I thought, well, if I found something cheap enough, it's something I don't mind leaving on the desk at work when I'm not there. The chances somebody's going to take it is probably pretty small, because it does look kind of technical. The DAC amps do. And I didn't think, I just thought I'm not really worried about it. It's a television studio lot. Like and I am way up out of the way. Like you couldn't find this office if you had a roadmap. I'm like, it's really hard to find. So I'm not really concerned about theft or anything. It's just like I want something that was cool but not too cool, that like attract a lot of attention. Go, hey, let's grab that. So the WA11 Topaz was what I decided on, and so I showed you a little bit of that. I can show you a little more of it, and I'll also show you the other thing that Woo had that I was on the fence about, and I just decided I'd go with something a little more flexible. let's see. We do that. We'll go there. We're back over on the laptop now, and so this is the WA11 Topaz, and it's it's pretty nice. It's a really minimalistic design. I kind of like that. Very cool form factor. I'm down with that. And it's got a punch. I mean, it's like 1.2 watts. Was that what I read? Something like that. Really good through the 4-pin, through the Pentacon, and then I think it's less than that if you go balanced or unbalanced. So not bad. So I just got the standard pack. I don't think I got anything fancy with it, but that's what I did. And then and again, it was like much less. This is the other one that I looked at this one too. Now this is the fancy schmancy. This is the tube version basically of that Topaz, but you sacrifice a lot of power, you give up a lot of battery life, and it's like I don't like, it's just too much. I think it's too much, and I'd rather like I'm a little more flexible if I go with the with something that's solid state, because as cool as this is and everything. And I really like the dial on it. Like the dial is really cool. I think a lot of stuff on here that's pretty cool. But it doesn't have the power output of the solid state unit, and it doesn't have the battery life of the solid state unit. So what I decided to do was go with the WA11, and that's what I did. So I've got a Topaz coming. My only nervous thing, and this may be, like, I could be shooting myself in the foot. Hang on, I'm not dropping out. I'm actually grabbing something out of my bag, if I can find it. Maybe I can't. God, I carry this backpack. It's got everything in the world in it, and then when I need to find something, I can't find anything. Did I take it out of the bag? How could I have done that? It's got to be in this backpack. So I tried using my digital audio player as a DAC on my computer at work. I'm trying to find... There it is. You just got to hunt around enough, and in these big old backpacks, you'll find what you need. Either that or you can't always get what you want. I don't know. Since I'm just little Rolling Stones channeling through my head. Pardon me. So on the bottom of this is the Cayin N8, and this has a DAC mode on it where you can just use the DAC in it and play stuff out. So I plugged this into my PC, and I selected this as the DAC, and then I went out to a pair of IEMs, and I turned it on, and it linked up, but it wouldn't play anything, and it caused everything to freeze on the computer. Now, I installed a driver for this on the computer because I thought, well, maybe it's just not talking to it cleanly, and because it is a PC at work, whereas the Mac stuff, you just kind of plug it in and it works. You don't ever need a driver on Mac for some reason, but on the PC, they prefer to have the driver, so I installed the driver. It still didn't work. So I'm worried that my computer at work is so old and so craptastic that it won't work. But it could also be that this guy is just too slow and it's trying to do too much at once and it's chunking the system. So I'm a little concerned that when I get this WA11 in, I'm going to take it to work and I'm going to plug it in and it's going to like freeze everything and it's not going to be able to play. But we'll see. Anything could happen. So that's my work story. That's what I'm like trying to figure out what it is what I'm gonna do, because I want to be able to take these Audezes to work, as a closed back and write during the day with these on. These are really good, and they're really good at isolating and stuff. It's just these need some oomph. You can't plug this into a 3.5 millimeter off of a PC and expect to get any kind of result. You're just not going to get it. So. And even on, it's a little underpowered for the Seni, 820 that I've been using all week. So, just having that extra layer there. And then the other thing is that jack is the jack on the PC is so like, you know, you just move it a little bit, you get a lot of that noise, like staticky stuff and like channel dropping out, whatever. It's just bad. It's a bad connector. So, you know, if I have something substantial like a unit sitting on the desktop, I've got a lot more range. The cool thing is they put in a standing desk for me at work. So now I can stand, you know, it's like one of those desks that go, you know, like Star Wars. It'd sound like Star Wars, but it would be cool if it was. But it's a really nice standing desk, and it's good because it gets me off my bottom because I sit too much during the day. So there you go. That's sort of like the whole work thing and how it all unfolded. And as it turns out now, the WA11 will be here tomorrow while I'm at work, but I pre-signed for it so I don't get the door sticker from hell. That is the worst feeling ever when you know, you're waiting for something really cool, you know, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to get it. And you get home and there's, sorry, we missed you. Oh, makes my blood boil. Like, how could that happen? So I just pre-signed for stuff, and don't come around my house tomorrow because you'll steal my Woo audio. Too much fun. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Looking forward to your impressions of the MM500. Oh, I don't have a pair yet, but it would be kind of cool. I think Audio 46 can probably send me a pair of those. Why not? And I've been doing a lot of Audeze headphones lately, so that would kind of fit. Pretty excited to check out. I've considered it. Yeah, I'll report back, and we'll probably do some stuff on the live show with it. I don't think it was something that I really kind of need to use for work, so I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it and like do a whole episode about it on you know, the big show. So, and although I might, you know, maybe I'll do something, who knows, but if it's really cool and I really have fallen in love with it, I'll probably do something with it. But you know, or I'll just show it off here on the live show, you know, something we can talk about and chit chat about together. But it's definitely as a portable thing. Most of what I've read is that the Cord, the Hugo 2 is better for the most part. Like, it's got better features. It's a little lower on the power output, but the DAC is so much better. But it's also a little colder and a little brighter. Everything's got trade-offs, my friends, including me. If only I was a little colder and a little brighter. That's what Mrs. Director says. If you were just a little colder and a little brighter, you could have had me. So yeah, and the MM500 looks really, really good for it. But this is where I start getting confused, because didn't they kind of position the LCD5 as the ultimate mixing headphone for studios, right? Because they were doing a lot of the stuff they were doing in the interviews at Audeze when the LCD5 came out was like with musicians. I'm pointing over there because that's where mine is. It's over there. Where they were doing interviews with musicians and producers, like saying this is the ultimate thing. I would like, you know, this is the perfect thing to mix on. And I'm like, well, MM500, what's that about? And maybe they mean like that's more for project studios, or like they're going after the AKGs, because, you know, AKG like pretty much dominates, I think, the semi-pro market, the prosumer market, even into some of the lower end studios. But and then I think you get, you know, this is still my best mixing headphone. This little Neumann back here. I'm still looking for the perfect replacement for that, like one that's got comfort and all the shit. But yeah, I think that's so it'll be interesting to see where it falls. I mean, like, what are they going to do? It's going to be less detailed. It's not going to be as detailed as the LCD5. They can't do that. They can't cannibalize their products like that. So what are you getting? It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be fun to find out, right? Hi-Fi Boog says he got a Cord Mojo 1, but he wants a Topaz. And I looked at I thought about the Mojo. I did think about the Mojo. That was like one of the considerations, and I'm like, I've just got so much Cord gear, Cord, you know, and then I've had 2 different Hugos. I've got a lot of chord. Like I can do with some other product, and I love Woo, and I got the big Woo. I've got too many Woo products. I got Woo overload. I'm overloaded. Bad. So, oh, by the way, anybody know, is there a price on the MM500 yet? It seemed like it was going to be, you know, in the more sane range. I can look it up. If only there were a device at my disposal where I could find out information in a hurry. Guys, it's not easy living with this brain. Let's take a look. Audeze. Going to Audio 46. See, are they pre-ordering yet? $16.99. $1,700. That's a lot. Huh. So it's going to be more reference, I would think, than the LCD X, is it? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Because it's not going to replace the X. The X is like their best seller. So, I don't, unless they're trying to get people to move up, I suppose. It's an interesting price point. Because that puts them right at the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. That's the exact same price as the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition, which is, to my ears, the best headphone at that price. So maybe they're going after that. They're going after that headphone, maybe. Interesting, though. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? 1,700. So 1,700 will get you that, and then the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. That's an interesting face-off. That would be a great shootout. If only somebody ran a YouTube channel that could do a shootout between those two. Oh, yeah. So that's me. Cheers, everybody. How's everything going? What do you guys excited about anything? What music you've been listening to? I can tell you some of the music I've been listening to, but it's going to kind of it's going to tease away too much of the show that's going up tomorrow. So I'm like, because what happens is, for me, is I start, you know, if I've got some little, I'm going to talk about, I'll just tell you a little bit of it. I'm going to talk about the two musicians we lost in the last 2 weeks, and that's you know, the drummer from Yes, Alan White, and Fletch from Depeche Mode. So, you know, so I start doing deep dives on where'd they come from, who'd they play with, you know, stuff that's interesting to me, so, and see if there's something. I'm not doing a whole, it's not a huge long thing on either. They're just like brief, but I did find a couple of interesting facts, which are in tomorrow's show. I was just blown away when I found some of this stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. But I wound up listening to a lot of Yes, especially a lot of Yes. I really was deep diving on Yes, and like I was amazed. You know, again, you know, the prog rock thing, we talk about it probably every week on this show. We talk about prog rock, but man, those early albums, and Alan White wasn't on the early albums. He came in 73, 72. Maybe it could have been as late as 74. I think it was 72. And yeah, he, you know, they had a different drummer before him. I don't remember his name, but he's the guy who played on all the early 70s hits, the thing that made Yes so famous originally. And man, those records are amazing. Like the bass, the musicianship was spectacular. And then I noticed, and then I was like comparing their earlier performances to their later performances, and like the earlier performances, it was the guitars, it was Steve Howe that was sort of like taking the lead of the band, and in the later years it's Rick Wakeman, the keyboardist. But I was amazed at like how proficient and amazing they were as musicians. Like back in the day, like they were doing some shit. I found an old performance of Roundabout from like 1972, and they all look really young, and they're, you know, I was like 6 at the time or something. But oh my God, could they play? And there's a great bass sound on Roundabout. It's like it's a slappy bass, but it's got a ton of punch and authority. It's like it punches out of the mix. It's really interesting. A well mixed version of that is like, man, that's great stuff. Great stuff. So I listened to a lot of Yes this week. That's my answer to what I've been listening to. Let's get back to the chat a little bit. Hi-Fi Boog was thinking about the LCD XC or the ZMF Verite closed. My wife complains when he's on his LCD2 and she's in the room on a Zoom call because she can hear you. Yeah. Well, that's been my ultimate quest, and I've gone through headphone after headphone and looking for that perfect closeback. And the Stealth from Dan Clark did not impress me. I thought it was bright. I thought it lacked bass. I didn't like the other Dan Clark, but the drop version of it, the closed back, Ether CX closed back. That didn't do it for me. It was close, but it was like it was short. The Ether C closed, I liked at a show, but I didn't. You never know what you're hearing at a show. They could be putting it on some like unbelievable amp, and you don't know the combination that they were with, and the show environment can kind of throw you off. There's a lot of ifs at the show, so I was impressed by them, but I don't know if I was sold by them. And then the other closed backs, well, the HER9, which for $700 sounds great, but you're going to have to buy into a lot of bass because that's what they do. They do bass, and pretty good headphone, but they do bass. They're going to be bassy. And then there's the 900 Fostex, whatever the latest version of the Fostex 900 is. Fostex. That's a closed back. Yeah, TH900 Mark II. That's what I was thinking of. Then the 909 I think is an open back. I think. So, but that's $17.99, so that you're kind of up there. The Verite closed, which I hear great things about, but I haven't heard them myself. I did not like the Focal. I don't like any of the Focals for closed backs. I think they're narrow. I mean, they really sound narrow, and I don't hear the bass that some people were claiming they heard, especially on the big one, the expensive one. I'll never forget it. I'm using a crutch today, folks. If you saw me over here, I'm on crutches. The Stelia. Yeah, the Focal Stelia. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, the Focal Stelia. I was like, that was the other. And I had super high hopes for that headphone. That headphone hurt. That one hurt my feelings when it sounded bad. It did. My feelings were hurt because that was the one, man. I was all set because I love the Utopia, and I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect. It's a closed back, and they say that no, it's bad on top of bad. I don't know what they did, but they did not make a good headphone there, at least to me. And I understand there are people who love it, and I'm not going to denigrate anybody for liking a headphone. I'm like, who cares? If you like it, you like it. Good, you found something you enjoy. I just couldn't I couldn't connect with it. I so wanted to. I mean, there's a headphone that hurt to not like it. I really wanted to like that. So that's been the journey, and really this has been the best answer so far is the XC. I don't have the closed, the Verite closed, and it's one that I've been keeping my eye out for, but it's stuff gets in the way. I got to do this, got to do that. I have other interests, something that's grabbing my, I'm still like I still want an LCD4, OG. There's a couple of those that are up on Headfi right now, and I'm like, well, just get some of let's live a little bit more in my means for a little bit here. Gas prices going up. Maybe we want to curtail a little bit of the spending. Not that I did, because I've got a flagship coming up in the next few weeks. Like a big flagship, one of the flagships you guys have been asking me to do. So, yeah. So there's that. So that's good. But it is a headphone that I do want to hear. So I'll get it at some point. They're all going to make their way through here at one time or another. Either somebody's going to lend me one, or I'm going to get one sent from Audio 46 because they don't handle ZMF. But or I'll just buy a used one. It's fine. I just don't want to buy a new one because we've talked about that. So that's that. So, but I totally hear you. I'm right now. The answer for me is this and the R9, the HER9. Those are the two closed backs that I'm like perfectly comfortable with saying, yeah, they're good. They're good. You just have to like a lot of bass, or you have to be able to deal with the weight and a the lower treble on this is. I would shave a little bit off of that if I could, if I EQ'd. Kevin Jacques says the MM500 impressions are in between the LCDX and the MX4. Less warmth and less bass compared to the LCDX, but better balance. Better technical performance compared to the X. Well, wait to see the graphs. I won't wait to see the graphs. You all know what I think of graphs on this show. I'm not a graph person. I want to know how it sounds. Like, what does it sound? Where is it sound? Is it a lush sound? Is it a bright sound? Is it is it dead flat? What are they doing with it? Is it going for that neutral kind of like, medium? Who knows? That's what I want to know. Hi-Fi Boog says my new job will let him set up multiple bank accounts. It's direct deposit. So 7% of his account goes to a side account until Christmas. He's doing a big buy for himself. Well, that's great. It's a good way to get yourself, a ZMF Verite closed. Just don't try and get any of the stabilized wood versions on as they come out. You'll never get one. Passing of Fletcher got him quite hard. Yeah, I mean, Salt and Peanut, yeah, let's all drink to Fletch, because anyway, he wasn't like the great musician or the singer or anything in the band. He's just kind of the guy who made the band fun. Like, he was one of the fun guys in the band. Like, he was a guy that you kind of like to see. And he was entertaining. And even the band will tell you, like, he wasn't like their go-to guy for lyrics. He wasn't their go-to guy for writing music. He was just entertaining, and he was sort of the band spokesman. He was the upfront guy off the stage. So Fletch was amazing, just great guy. Just a great guy. Everybody in the music industry, when you see the list of people that came out and said, man, like it was great. I mean, it was Tori Amos all the way down, and anybody that was anybody in the 90s was was like really sad by that news. And I'm a huge Depeche Mode fan. Their music is brilliant. Like it was like industrial meets alt rock meets new wave and a splash of punk, just to spice. It was like they had a great sound. They still have a great sound. It's just, in their prime, those albums, Music for the Masses and Violator. I mean, driving stuff, like aggressive and also like chill. They could do everything. Just fantastic. I absolutely love Depeche Mode. Sorry to hear about that. Atrium Closed will be released by Christmas, I would guess. But, even ZMF is not clear about where the Atrium falls. Like, where do they fall next to the Verite? Are they replacements for the Verite? They're kind of priced like replacements. So, what's the difference? I still don't know the difference there. What's the difference they're going for? And the only way is just to hear them. I'm just going to have to get them in and hear them. So stay tuned, kids. See what we do. ML Jenkins says he was trying to share a link earlier. He got a pair of Wilson Audio Alex 5 over the weekend. It's been a long time and a dream to do 2 big channel system. So that's been fantastic. Okay, so you went with, this is, I'm assuming, I don't know Wilson Audio that well. I'm assuming that is a speaker system, like a big, racky kind of thing, for home stereo, which is great. I love, good stuff. Vocal Radiance is a bonkers closeback for the price. Had the Radiance, didn't think much of it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. Didn't didn't do it for me. And I've heard people who just love the Radiance. It just, for me, it was, it didn't like, didn't grab me, didn't like make me go, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So I'm just like, I'm looking for the right thing, and you don't know until you find it, you know. And I can't find it. It's like, I want the R9, but I want the R9 in a better ergonomic package, and I want it in a better looking headphone. I'm not wearing that to work, kids. Like, look at me like I'm from Mars. Yeah, I just, it's a fun headphone for around the office when I'm kicking around late at night, and I've worn them actually quite a bit. I've actually used them quite a bit, but it's not quite there for, like, you know, it's not like prime time. It's not something I want to take to work with me. And you know, to transport that thing, it's like it's cups or swimming pools on that thing. You know, we could lose young children in there. Where'd Billy go? He's in Dad's headphones again. And so that's great. And then Ryan Deet says, have you tried the Aeon Noir? I did at CanGen. There was another headphone that did impress me, and that's another one that I should get in here, because that did impress me, especially for the price. I think they're $900, $800, something like that. If only there was a device that could tell us this information right away. Swear to God, guys. Losing my marbles today. Dan Clark Audio. Not Dan Audio. Antoinard. $899. And $900 to, depending on what you get. What the shit is you get with it. And I love the way they fold up, too. That might be the perfect ticket. So, Ryan Dietz. Cheers, Ryan. You may have for the wind it. Yeah, and for my I have like this killer 2-track system in my living room. The you know, like big stereo, and I've got great Vandersteens, but my amp's dead, so I can't use it. And then most of the time I'm listening, I have these Genelecs here. I have a 2-channel plus a sub Genelec system, which is fantastic for mixing episodes. Can I tell you? They're really good. Adnan stops in. Adnan. Your ears must have been burning because I was talking about you. Adnan, I made a purchase of a Woo Audio product because of you. Because of what you did last week and that amazing WA22 that was silver. It's all over Facebook, kids. Adnan's secret is out. Yeah, DCA closebacks are good. Yeah, don't get the drop version, though. I've got that drop version over there, and I'm still trying to sell it. I'm trying to get like $650 out of it. Maybe if I can get $650 out of it, that'd be kind of cool. But I'm like, nobody wants to buy them. I paid like $750 for them. I'm like, I was hoping that I could sell them for $100 off, seeing as I only wore them once. Too much fun. Okay. Good Pixel Productions. Then again, you have yet to open and review the Hifiman R7. I'll do the R9 after 2. Well, okay. Well, I don't want to get into stuff that we haven't done yet, because it's going to be like, it's too confusing. Like that, I don't know what we're talking about. So I'm gonna set that little thing aside for that. We're talking about back and forth about some mods and stuff, and we're doing it offline, and you'll understand. It's coming up in future episodes of my show, of the Big Show. So we'll do that then. I just don't want to confuse people here, because if they're like, it's too inside baseball, they don't know what we're talking about. ZH Master, what's up, Doc? Long time no see. Long time no see. Cheers to you, ZH Master. Everybody, hope you have your favorite beverage out. They say the Atrium is a co-flagship. CMF has, and I respect Zach. I think Zach does like artwork. I think he makes absolute artwork for the head. I think it's gorgeous. They don't do the best on their marketing, and they don't do the best on their sales stuff. I would love to see a little bit. It's rough, kids. It's rough. So it's like it's a co-flagship. Well, what's the best headphone you make? Well, the Verité's good. Well, is the Atrium better? Well, the Verité's good. Help me help you. Tell me what your best headphone is. So fun. Yeah, Adnan definitely stole the show last week, and then I caught up with him on Facebook when he debuted his amp to the world, and we all had lust. We had tube lust. Kevin wishes he could share a picture, but it's not the place. Today, the stock tube swapping completion happened. Wow. So, Adnan, what did you wind up buying? Tell us what tubes you wound up getting. Very curious. ML Jenkins says he's listening to so much audio, he's losing sleep. I'm losing sleep because I can't get my stuff done in the week. I'm really... like just slammed. I'm slammed every day. I'm slammed till 2 in the morning. So it's really something. Hey, what's going on with my phone? I'm getting a lot of notices here. Did something I think Mrs. Director got home. I think that's what that means. It was my front door blink going. Blink. JTB still has a team in the playoffs. One of the few. I didn't see what happened the other day. I know the Lightning went up 2-1, but I didn't hear what happened on in Game 3. You guys on the brink, or did you come back strong? I don't remember. So, yes, we have not done the 5-minute tube amp tribute today. Adnan got... Hi-Fi Boog, I'm going to show you what Adnan got, because we were all so jealous. And for those of you coming in late, I'll tell you, because it's up right now. I'm going to show you. This is not the amp that I bought. I bought this for work, the WA11 Topaz headphone. And I bought that because I'm back in the office, and I've got a PC, and I'm looking for something to be a DAC for that computer that can go around with me. Hi, Mrs. Director. She just got home. And
Hello, Kingdom.
so so I bought this WA11 and then I did open box, so I saved some money on it. And then this is what Adnan bought. I'm going to show you. And it would be, a little thing that looks like this. Is that not the coolest? Yeah, that's something. So that's what Adnan got. That's pretty good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So so what happened was, when I was starting to think that I needed a DAC for my office computer this week, and I started thinking, and my head went to Woo because I was jealous of that WA22. Now, I didn't buy the WA22, and I'm not going to be able to put the WA22 in. I actually thought about the Fireflies, the WA7s. That was definitely like the first thought that I had, because it looked so cool. But they didn't. I would have had to have gotten just the single unit, and the new version 3 of that. They dropped, like, they have version 2. They're still selling their version 2s, and then they just came out with version 3, which is all in one with a solid state power supply, and It was just too expensive. I didn't want to put that kind of money on the desk, and I wanted something I could just grab with me, throw in a bag. And at the end of the day, what I decided on was the WA11 because of Adnan. So it's everybody blame Adnan. It's all his fault. Curse you, Adnan. So yeah. So Adnan's waiting for his PhD advisor to leave on a trip next Friday. He'll lose his sleep next week. Yeah, because you're going to be up. He goes all pink when I say that. Yeah, but we go all green with envy. So that's really cool. So, well, let's see. JTB gives us an update from the world of sports. His Rangers are starting to choke. Well, they came back the other day, so that's got to be something. I mean, Lightning's not an easy... They're never an easy team. They've got a pretty good batch of players down there. So, I don't know. They got to play them. They still got to play them. But you're at best of 7 now, so somebody's got to come up with a couple of wins still. Talking hockey, guys. Those of you in Canada would understand. Verite closed is better than the XC. Way more comfortable, too. Well, I would guess. I actually think these are pretty comfortable. They're just heavy. I don't have any issue. Oh, listen to that. Nice saxophone playing. It's nice. I actually think these are these are perfectly comfortable. I just think they're heavy. So you're going to have a chunky headphone on your head. I kind of like that, though, in some ways, in some situations. Not all the time, but sometimes it's just nice to have something that lets you know there's substantial headphone up there. 18 people, 9 likes. Yeah, it's the story of my life. By the way, we are at, you're not going to believe this, we are at 3,999 subscribers. I'm a subscriber short, which is a great metaphor for my life. $39.99. That's where we're at. I'm not kidding. We're 1 subscriber short of the big 4K. And I've decided I'm going to do at least a giveaway of 1 headphone for the 4,000.
Come on, guys, get into 4,000.
Mrs. Director. So yeah, so we're one short. We are 1 subscriber short. Can you believe it? That's something. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. 18 people watching the likes. We did that. I done lusted over the Topaz for years, but couldn't afford one. Yeah, I just found one on. It was an open box on Audio 46, who has a big part in tomorrow's episode. For those of you who are tuning in late, episode dropping. I believe it's going to be tomorrow. If for some reason I get hit on the head tonight and I don't get it all done, it'll be Friday. But I'm close. It's really close. The episode's really close. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a double unboxing. It's a double blind unboxing. They put 2 items in the box, so I was really surprised by that. That was really cool. And they're both IEMs, so it's kind of like it's a little back to the IEM thing. And I haven't done an IEM episode in a long time, so it's kind of cool to get back into that realm a little bit. That was fun. So that's cool. And then we're going to talk about those 2 musicians I talked about a little earlier in the show. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, but I told a story at the top of the show about wanting a new DAC amp for work. And, I have the Cavalli Tube Hybrid over here that gathers dust that is worth, I think I could sell this for maybe $100, $150 if I was lucky. And it's, I mean, it's fine. I just never use it. I mean, it's been sitting. I don't know that I've ever even turned that on. That's how it's like. It's just sat there, and now it's like it's not. It's with the cost of shipping. It's not even worth selling because it's going to cost me as much to ship it as it is to sell it. The price I get. So that's the. I thought about bringing that to, but that doesn't have a DAC in it. That was the whole trip on it. So I wound up doing that, and then we also talked about some chord possibilities. I still, I don't know. Is it me? Like, I don't get into shit audio stuff for some reason. I just like, and maybe I just have a bias or something. I just have never been. I think when I was going to look at Chord Gear, I looked at their high-end stuff, and like when I listened to the chord stuff and then I listened to the shit stuff, like it was good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Chord. Like Chord was just blowing me away with their detail and quality, their build quality, everything about the Chord stuff was just so amazing. I was like, it just never like landed with me. It was never something that I was like, I never got product lust over a shit audio product. They're boring boxes. Like they're not even like exciting to check out. So I was like, I never really got into them. But that would have been a good choice though. Like thinking back on it, that would have been a good choice. Or if Cavalli was still in business and making product, like one of his really cool like carbons would have been a good thing, I thought, for the desktop. That could have been an option. But I didn't go with the Mojo because it was just, I've got too much Chord Gear. But like, stuff that's well made, like the stealth stuff, it's just amazing. Good stuff. Let's go back to the chat here real quick. It's much larger than the picture. I thought it would be smaller. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just cut that stuff on Howley. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try. Howley, who's right here, got a little flea medication because I noticed a lot of scratching. I'm not saying he had fleas. I don't know if fleas would like Howley, but I think he had fleas. So I put flea medication on him. And flea...
Pop! You said hit on the head! You wouldn't get it out tomorrow!
That's marriage, folks. Hi, buddy. So Howley got some flea medication yesterday. That's that. Little update from life. All right. I totally lost my train of thought here. Yeah, that is a big amp. It's a whopper of an amp. So yes, Woo doesn't do much small. Even there, like I had the WA6. That was my very first amp. Was the WA6. That's, I mean, it's not terribly wide, but it's deep and it's thick and it's heavy. Like pound for pound, the Woo stuff is up there. It's heavy, big stuff. It's amazing. Get my wife subscribed. Yeah. She won't subscribe. It's just our future, babe. Tube amp recommendation. Oh, that's such a broad topic. And really, it's like, how much do you want to spend? That's the other thing. Tubes are. They're your best friend and your worst enemy because they'll keep you warm at night, but they'll suck your money dry. You're going to be buying. You'll be just starting. Once you start down that tube rolling path, man, it's hard to put the brakes on. What does this sound like? What does that sound like? Is this better? Is it worse? Yeah, it's great tube amps. You just gotta. It depends on what your budget is, really, because there's a tube for every price point. Basic. The Dark Voice. Pretty good for basic, like entry level amp, but it looks just like the WA6. And I would say, honestly, like if I'm looking at the Dark Voice, I would pay the little extra money and get the Woo, because jack is amazing, and the build quality on the Woo stuff is like, they don't mess around. They do not mess around. It's solid. It's when you open the box, you got something special. And it doesn't matter if you paid $600. It doesn't matter if you paid $1,200. It doesn't matter if you paid $12,000. You open the box and you got something special. I can't tell you what it was like when I opened the WA5 for the first time, and you've got these it's two boxes and these aluminum handles, and it's a strain to pull these things out. It's an experience. Those Woo products are just like So, and now I got another one. I got the solid state version coming in. So really cool. So I think it just comes down to getting back to the thing. Elm8. It just comes down to what you want to spend. You can spend so much. Look, the top Woo tube amp is $15,000, I think, and then God, Western Electric has a new tube offering, the WE91. Did you guys see this? Oh, I'll put it up on the big screen. Hang on. Here, let's go to this again. Just remind me not to, stay on it for 10 minutes. You see this? The 91E? Can I drive my Susvara with it, please? Look at this. Look at this. Ah. Yeah, hi. Hi. Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be kind of fun. I'll take two. I think they're what, 13,000, I think. 16,000. But look, you can choose your color. You can get gold or silver or black. Yeah, you can get into the weeds really fast. And I still like the Dan Clark stuff. I'm like not the Dan Clark, the Dan D'Agostino stuff. You're starting to get into that Dan D'Agostino range, and I'm like, if I could afford some of that stuff, be the best. Just be the best. Quarling 99, how do you like the Griffin? I don't have a Griffin. JTB says hybrid or OTL tube amp. I like the single-ended stuff. I like a big 300B amp. I like the spaciousness it brings. That to me is like that's what I enjoy about it. And I'd love to have a WA33. That would be the amp that I would want in here. I've got the WA5 in here, and that's just going to have to do. Spoiled, rotten we are. But I mean, the what you can do, what you can get out there with. I mean, there are. What is the Wells Audio? Wells Audio is another one. Like, God, look at the Wells Audio stuff. I mean, it's amazing. It's killer. A lot of people say it's one of the best amps in the world. I don't know. I never heard it, but I've seen them at shows, and they don't disappoint. Let's take a look. Here you go. Oh, of course I don't. Head Trip 2? Is that it? No. Nope. Where's their tube amp? They've got a killer tube, don't they? Trying to find it. Do anybody know what the name of the tube amp is from them? Save me some trouble. There's one. Headphone amp. Not cheap. This one's $1,500. That's not their most expensive one though. I know their expensive headphone amp is like death. It's like 9,000, I think. That's 30,000. Bander, that's not it. I don't know what it's called. I don't know, guys. Go over to Wells Audio. You can take a look. You can drool over their page. I can't help it. Oh, it's so good. It's all so good. I could get some used in demo gear, though. That'd be kind of fun. Except they don't have any. It's dead. Dead links. All right, so there you go. Wells Audio. That's the... oh, hi, bud. Hi, you want to go outside? I should probably put him outside. Do we have 59... Did we had 59 viewers at one point? That's amazing. Okay. So, yeah. So, Wells Audio. That's another... That's a really good one. So... where are we at? JTB, we need a pink couch update. Yeah, pink couch now has a pink cover on it. It's like a pink blanket so that Howley won't tear it up. But I put the pink couch together. That's why we got off the air last week a little bit early, was so I could go help the wife put the pink couch together. I put the pink couch together, guys. It's more like a futon, really. Kind of a death trap of a futon to put. It's like the back on it like would slam shut on you and like, whoa, stand back. It's very heavy. All right, let me let Holly out real quick. Go ahead, buddy. I'm not going to put you on camera. Don't worry. I know you're... He's all sensitive because the back of his head's got the flea powder on, or the flea juice on it. All embarrassed. Yes, I get wifed all the time. Mrs. Director loves to play games and call people out, but I like to call her out too. It's kind of fun. We get along that way. It's great. Let's not go down the tube rolling rabbit hole. You'll put you in the poorhouse. Yeah, and I'll do a little tube tour maybe next week on the show. I'll pull out what tubes I have in house, because I have a lot of tubes here. It's amazing. I've sold a bunch, but I still have a decent tube inventory, including like some really like the U.S. I forgot what the name of it was, but the Frankenstein looking rectifier. It's got the 2 electrodes on the either side. It's like amazing. Yeah, the 91 goes to the wish list. When I'm on the wish list, though, in my end game, this is my end game. My end game is the Dan DiAgostino stuff. I've seen it in person, I've heard it, and I want it. Yeah, the $10,000. The $10,000 doesn't begin to scratch the Dan stuff. That's the problem. Here, I'll give you a little bit. Let's go find Dan. Here we go, guys. You want this is you want to know what like will make me cry at night? It's gonna be this stuff. Watch this. Want to die? Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god. I'm like, that's the shit. That's the shit. Here's the stereo amp. Look at this. Yes, please. Can I have that? It's so awesome. And then like if you look at the preamp, you see the ring, this ring here around the middle, around the gauge. That's your volume control. That whole ring, that whole giant ring is your volume control. And you just turn, I mean, it's like Captain Nemo. It's like, it's like for your volume. It's so awesome. It's beyond. But what's the price again? What we got here? They don't even put it. It's so expensive they don't list the price. That's how expensive it is. It's like 40 grand, guys. I think new. It's like 40 grand. But I'm like, oh please. USA at 596. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Odd none. I've got a pair of those. I have a matched pair of those for the Woo. I just don't use them anymore. And I had, I had EMLs. I think I sold the EMLs. I think I sold the PS Vanes, but I still have the Takatsukis, and then the original tongue. I don't even remember what they are. The original tubes that came with this amp. I still have them somewhere. They're shit, total shit, garbage, but they work. They're fine. ML Jenkins, he has a HD preamp in black and copper, and it's gorgeous. You have, is that the Dan? I'm just gonna, I'm not happy right now. I'm terrible envy. That Dan DiAgostino stuff is unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and it sounds so good. Sounds so good. It just sounds like nothing else. Make you spend more money. Cool looking. Yes, science and art are one. That's what I love. I when somebody can come up with a really cool design. That's what's great about the Woo stuff. The WA5LE is a beautiful amp, and it's just like it's art meets science, and it's like it's all in that sort of what do they call it? Art Deco kind of looking thing. It's just amazing. God, they're just amazing stuff. Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. What are we at? We got. I'll do probably 15 more minutes or so, and then we'll call it a day for our happy hour hangout. Want to welcome everybody here. Anybody who's new here, and we have 26 viewers. So at the moment, there's probably 10 of you that are new. Just kidding. I'll tell you what's going on here. Every Wednesday, me and my closest friends all pile into this big YouTube room. We call it the Humpday Happy Hour Hangout at the Director's Garage. I have a regular show that goes up once a week. That's the one with all the fancy graphics and all the stuff. And we do this little live hangout where we just... And today we're talking amps. Amps seems to be ruling the conversation today, but 2 weeks ago was barbecue. We talked for literally an hour about barbecue sauce and where to find great barbecue. So it's an anything goes except politics. We don't talk about any of the stuff, any of the nonsense that gets everybody all hot and bothered. We're not into that. We'd rather argue over amps and tubes. So we do this once a week. It's usually on a Wednesday, Hump Day Happy Hour. And then sometimes it's on a Tuesday, or sometimes it's on a Thursday. Sometimes it's even gone to Friday because of my work week, because I'm working around my schedule. I have a day job. I don't do audio for a living. We're here to have fun. We're not here to make a living off of it. And I think that makes it a lot more pleasant for the viewer, because you're not being sold something constantly. But speaking of sales, I will tell you that we have a partnership with Audio 46. I'm opening two on the next episode, which should be up tomorrow. I'm opening 2 of their boxes, but if you go to their website, audio46.com, at checkout, you can enter the coupon code Director's Garage, all one word, and you will get an extra 5% off most of the items they carry. I do this spiel once per show, just to tell you to go there, because it's the only way that the Director's Garage actually pulls in money. We don't do subscriptions here. We don't do any of that stuff. I'm not that fancy. So that's what we do. And so if you go there and you do that, we get a little kickback from that. You get 5% off on whatever it is you're buying, as long as it's not like Campfire Audio or Grado. I think those are the 2 brands that they don't honor that with. But you get something back for, and then we get a little love, and then Audio 46 gets to make a sale. And so everybody wins. It's a good thing. And then you can also like and subscribe to the page, because that's helpful. That costs you nothing, just a calorie or 2. And we are at 3,999 subscribers, which thrills me to no end. If it could stay there for like 3 weeks, that would be awesome. That would be just perfect. I'm gonna make people unsubscribe so we can stay at $39.99. It's just a great number. And then I'm gonna be doing a free giveaway. Probably in the next month. You know, as soon as I get some time and I can figure it out and do it. But I think what I'm going to give away, I've got a JH Audio Jimmy. It's like $1,100 IEM. I'm going to give that away for sure. I want them at Can Jam. I'm like, you know, and honestly, like, I don't use them. So, and they're really nice. They're really pretty. Hang on, let's show it to you. Because nothing screams. Oh, it's not here. Nothing screams YouTube viewers like the guy walking off camera during his show. Come on. There it is. So yeah, I think I did show these on one episode like 100 years ago, but I won these at Can Jam. Look at these. Look at these. They're freaking gorgeous. It's like purple and beige and really nice, and it's tunable. There's like a tunable thing. I'm gonna give these away. They've sat in a drawer for 2 years, or for a year. There's no point in me having these, so I pass these on. And thanks to Jerry Harvey Audio for, you know, that's what I'm gonna give away. So, you know, I mean, look, and I'm just a guy. I'm just like one guy. It's not like I'm like I've got the headphone emporium that's stocking me with shit. Like I'm just like, this is all out of pocket, folks. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be. I think that for sure is something I'm giving away. And then I don't know what else I'll do. Probably some cheaper stuff that I, you know, like, I'm sure I've got something in there from Linsol that I could probably toss, because I keep nothing that anybody sends me. If they send it to me, I give it away, because it's like, I want to pay it forward. That's the best part about this show, is like sharing and you know, sending out stuff. So, and I don't require anybody to subscribe or anything like that. I just give it away. I might ask for a comment just to make sure that you want the item, because not, you know, a lot of people, some people might have this already. Like, they don't want another one. You know, let somebody else have it. So there you go. Daniel Foster checking in with us. Where you been, Daniel? He's been drinking screwdrivers. Well, all right, you're excused. Anything like that is that you're excused. Chris NYC, am I into vinyl at all? I don't think I've ever heard about talk about a turntable. Oh yeah, I talk about vinyl all the time. And I think I did an unboxing as a short on for a vinyl album. I've got I think I did a random record review just like 3 weeks ago. I have 4 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago. I don't know. It's like one of the last episodes. Look for it. Random record review. I think it's on. It might even be on the thumbnail. You can see. I go over I show you some of my different records in that episode, so you can check that out. Just watch that episode, Chris. And then my turntable is a VPI. It's back here. It's supporting all the signs. See this? See how we got the sign back there with the $39.99? And then it's sitting on the turntable that has a dust cover on it. And I have a Lyra Delos cartridge on a VPI Scout. Very nice turntable. Someday I'll upgrade that too, but it's great. It's great turntable. It's monopoint. It's like amazing sound on that thing. Sounds good. So that's what I did, and then that all is amped by the McIntosh back here, the McIntosh C2600 tube pre. I wanted the MC8000. I don't think that's right. I think the first two letters are wrong, but it's like something 8000, and that's the all tube pre phono stage from Mac. And I looked for one of those, and I couldn't find them. It was just like I wasn't in my budget, and a lot of things didn't fall. I just couldn't find one used, and I need to find it used because I can't pay new. The thing's like $9,000 new. So I was looking for a used one. Then one came up, but it was like, I don't know. There's always something. There's always a reason. And I almost got the anniversary edition of the 70, the C70, which was the integrated amp that they came out with for their 50th anniversary. The guy was going to sell it to me for $3,500, which is, I got this for $3,500. Go and try and find this for $3,500 anywhere. You'll never find it. And it was like brand new in a box. It was listed as used, but it was brand new in a box, never been opened. So yeah, I got this for $3,500, and I was like thrilled. And I don't see them from a very once in a while. You'll see them at 4, but most of the time they're at 5 and up. And knew these things were 7 or 8, so I'm like bitching. But I wanted to get that McIntosh phono stage in a really bad way. He says with a shitty grin. I really did want to, and I'm still looking for one. If one pops up and I have the money, that might happen someday. But we're not in a rush. This stuff will take time. It's like fine wine. What I need to do is get more subscribers. If I can get over 4,000 live on the air, wouldn't that be something if that kicked over to 4 right now? It didn't. Yeah, if I get over once I get over if I can get these subscriptions up, and I mean like get a substantial number of subscribers, then the show would start actually making some money instead of being a giant cosmic red sucking vortex of money down the drain. Yeah, but they're then I would then I'd be springing for that stuff. I'll tell you what, if you guys get me to 100,000 subscribers, I will buy a Dan DiAgostino whatever, but don't do it illegally. Don't do any of the stuff YouTube hates. We're not about bots. We just need to get to 100,000 real people. Then I'll buy a Dan DiAgostino and I'll show it off. I'll put B-roll up. You guys, I'll do the best show ever. Victor Ennis says, hey, my friend, relatively new to hi-fi, and even though, well, you know what, this is a big tent hi-fi. Even though he makes a living with his ears, which is great, always good to do that, it's looking for a pair of headphones, thinking of the ZMF Aeolus. Have you heard of those? Yes, I think many of us have heard of those. At that price, that's a pretty good headphone for that price. You're looking at the $1,100, $1,200 range, and it comes down to, do you want an open back or a closed back? And what do you kind of look for? I would say, you know, I'm the $1,200 price point. That's in the pocket of like the best headphone around for that price. You're not going to go wrong with it. I'll tell you that. If you had, like, this is the closed back at that price point, I would recommend this one right here. It's the Audeze LCD-XC. If you can go up a little higher, I would tell you to look at the Hifiman Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. That's a phenomenal headphone that you could buy for about $1,800. And if you didn't have that much, I would tell you to look at the Noir from Dan Clark Audio. That's a great headphone. The LCD-X is a good headphone. That's a great headphone. And what else? That's a pretty good list. That's a pretty good short list right there. I don't think you'd go wrong with any of those headphones. And I've heard I've heard great things about some of them. I've heard, and I would not tell anybody not to buy them. So there you go. So Victor, that's what I would tell you to do, and ask any questions you want. We are more than happy to. Most of us in the business, most of us who, you know, kind of hang out together and know everybody, and you know, we go to all these meetups online and stuff. There's nobody would ever like look at. You don't know what headphone to buy. It's not that crowd. And it certainly isn't in this neighborhood. I wouldn't let anybody on the show that got like that. We're just happy to, hey, welcome to the tent. It's a big party, and nobody parties harder than this show. Even though we're on a weekday and I can't drink the beer, I did have a beer once. I just have work to do, folks. I got to get the next episode out the door. Gosh, amazing. All right, so let's go down the last couple here, and we'll wrap up our happy hour Humpday Hangout, the director's garage. Chris New York City, very nice setup. Don't know how he missed that from all my episodes. Well, there's 108 of them to choose from. Well, there will be 108 as of tomorrow. So yeah, you haven't watched every single cotton picking minute of the director's garage? Okay. Andrew Kahn says, if you've used the... if I have a used LCD-XC Babinga with 2021 drivers, what's the best place to sell them and trade up? Andrew, I would tell you a couple of different places. The main place is go to headfi.org. That's where most of us come from into the hobby. Headfi.org is your sort of like your peer group and your enablers, much like we are around here. They're the people that'll tell you exactly what you bought that was wrong. And sometimes how big of an idiot you were. I just tell people I'm an idiot up front. Yeah, that's where you go, though. The classifieds on headfi.org. Great place to sell stuff. I don't do eBay anymore because of the seller's fees. They're just getting too out there, and I'm selling stuff that's so expensive. They take such a huge cut of the higher price stuff. It's not worth my while. Whereas, if you do it through the classifieds, and everybody over at Headfi, it's like we're a pretty big group. There's not a lot of people over there trying to scam somebody else. I've never had a bad deal. I think the worst that happened was somebody didn't photograph some damage on a headphone. And so that kind of sucked that somebody didn't do that. I wish they would have been full disclosure, because I'm like, I'm gonna photograph, if I'm selling something, I'm gonna photograph like these. There are micro scratches across the A here. Now you need to hold it up to the light at the 32-degree angle, and if you look close, you can just make a, I'm gonna point out every single, because I want you to get a headphone. First of all, I want you to have a great experience, and I don't want you to have any surprises. And most people on Headfi you'll find are like this. They over-describe the errors with the thing. For instance, I'm selling the Cayin N8, and I'm like brutally honest. The case, the leather case that it originally came in, that thing was trashed when I got it, and I've never used it. So it's like, it's bad. So instead, I'm giving, when I sell that to whoever, I'm giving this case with it, which is, it's a good case. It's just, it's not quite as, ergonomic or whatever, but this protects it. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, most people are like that. They'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. Victor S was going to get a Woo Audio WA7 Gen 3 to run with the headphones he chose. It's a pretty good choice. I mean, it comes, what you need to figure out, Victor, is what you like in a headphone. And that will only come through experience and listening to a lot of headphones. Because the WA7 is going to give everything a much smoother presentation. But if you marry that to a headphone that is like hyper detailed, you may not like that synergy. You may not like the way they go together. And all that stuff is just like time and experience. And when I started this show 2 years ago, and 3,999 subscribers ago, it's never going to get old. I didn't know stuff that well. I didn't know that much about it. I bought 3 expensive headphones, and I'd always wanted to try a YouTube show, so I just like put down some thoughts. I rolled the camera and talked for about 20 minutes about how stupid I was for buying 3 very expensive in-ear monitors, and how I did it and why I did it. And I got a lot of people who wrote me and said, I do the same thing all the time. Why don't you do more of this type of thing and just talk like that? Yeah, and so I started developing it. And by episode like 10 or so, I kind of had a little format that was starting to work. And then the subscribers came, and then like some people, Audio 46, who, I mean, I didn't have hardly any subscribers back then. They came to me and said, "Hey, I really like what you're doing, and we want to see if we can play together." And like, you know, they came in at such an early time and started giving me content to review when I had no subscribers. I mean, I wasn't even monetized yet, and they were on board with me. And I'm like, that was really cool. That was really cool of them to do, and they've worked with me every step of the way. So I'm like, I don't even know where I was going with it. It was just like, I just wanted to talk about that for a second because it was just, but that's how the show kind of developed, you know, and that's how we got where we are. And I've done all of these things. I've reviewed all. My point is, when I started, I was a damn fool. I mean, I hadn't listened to hardly anything. I had an HE1000 V2, which I had sold to buy the ZMF Verite Openback, which I didn't like, or disappoint. I should say, I didn't know that I didn't like it. It disappointed me for what I was expecting. And I don't even know what I was expecting. And I probably would like that headphone today because I know so much more about headphones today than I did 2 years ago. Because I've heard so much more. I've listened. My ears have so much more experience. And there you go. That's where it goes. That's how it happens. Matthew Hilty, Diana TC. I don't have, I've got the 1266 TC. And it's the same driver. What am I missing? That's my problem. What am I missing? Am I going to get something with the Diana TC that I don't already have with the same driver in the 1266 frame? I can't see it happening. In fact, I can kind of see a case for it to be worse sounding because you're moving those drivers in close when they perform much better with the little separation off my ear. Did they make it work? I'm sure they figured out a way, but I'm not anxious to, like, it's not something that I need to check out necessarily. If Abyss would send me something, which they've never expressed any interest in, like, even having a conversation with me. The one time I wrote them a note, I got kind of a "you're nobody" response. So I'm like, well, I am nobody. I can't like counter that with the truth because I am nobody. But you didn't have to be so harsh, Abyss. Like, you could have let me down a little easier. We've got our own thing. We're okay, go do your own thing. I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you guys on a show that I was impressed with your headphone, and I wanted to ask a couple of questions, and they didn't care. Well, that's okay. They didn't have to. Daniel Foster, he would love to hear the McIntosh matching reel to reel. Yes, it's special. It's the shit. It's the shit. It's the real shit. There is no question about that. There is something really special about that. They put a pro grade head. I try to be careful when I say stuff because, you know, there are true Studer fans that are going to go, "There's no way that's a Studer." But there are Studer fans I know that have heard the J Quarter modded stuff that say it sounds as good as my Studer because they're modifying all the electronics on it to bring it up. They're not consumer heads in there. They're putting a pro head in the reel-to-reel deck. The stuff that they did on that to that deck is substantial. Like, they substantially changed stuff to bring it up to a pro grade, and that to me, you know, I talked to the guy for a long time. You know, we chatted on the phone for a long time, and I'll tell you something else. And cheers to Matthew Hilty. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out, Matthew, and buying me this iced tea. I so appreciate it. So let me tell you a little of the thinking behind why I did the reel-to-reel too, because I didn't want to say this on the full-blown episode, which everybody watches. these live streams, we get about 100 viewers, let's be honest. The fellow that was doing it had been doing this for a while. He's done 1,000 decks. He's upgraded 1,000 Technics RS 1500s and done it. So now I'm going out and buy a 6-pack of beer because y'all are just making me blush. Daniel Foster, thank you so much. But what I tell you is this: the guy was he's an older fellow. He's like in his mid 70s, and my thinking was I had the money, and I had this deck that was I tweaked 2 years ago, and it either needed to have me go through another round of doing my own testing on it and tweaking, which I really didn't have time to do this time around, or I should consider the rehab project and sending it off to him. And I was a little nervous because I didn't know how much longer this guy was going to do it. And that worried me because I thought I did want to take advantage. I wanted to try what he was doing, what he was selling. And the other thought was too, I honestly, for the price of it, I could have bought a Studer deck. The problem is the Studer decks, if you know anything about Studers, is unless you get like the pro, like the small package model, most of the Studer decks come in a cart. There's a frame and they're on wheels, and there's a meter bridge over the top, and you can put these giant pancake reel-to-reel discs on them and do like real pardon the pun, but you could do like these massive like archival pancake spools, but they need room, and you guys see my space here. It's not that big, so I'm like, I'd really be just like this for just to fit in this reel-to-reel deck, and it's going to take away at the minimum, it's going to take away 3 or 4 drawers worth of cables and stuff that I need and all of the technical stuff. So that's in the end having a pro grade, and I'm just going to take people's word for it that it is up to the sound of a pro grade of a professional deck unit that is a desktop unit. It still takes up a lot of space on the desktop, let's not kid ourselves, but it is manageable. It's not taking up floor space, it's just taking up a chunk of desk space, and it fit. So yeah, that to me made it worth the price. And like I said, I was really concerned that this guy was not going to do this that much longer. I mean, he's an older guy, and who knows, and I don't have that inside intel, and I'm like, now is the if I'm going to do it, now is the time to send that out and do the upgrade. Okay, let's get back to the chat here. We'll wrap this up, and I'm already overstayed my welcome. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. Just I won't shut up today. I think it was the fact that I got cut short last week with the couch project, with the pink couch project. What about Avantone planers? I don't know. I haven't heard them, Daniel. I have to defer. Only have heard about 13 cans so far, but he's looking at Dan Clark's Noir closebacks. I heard the Noir closeback at Can Jam. Take it with a grain of salt because it was a noisy room. But I think that and the Ether C closed are Dan Clark's 2 best headphones. And I mean that. Think about all the headphones that Dan Clark makes, and the Noir might even be his best headphone that he makes, in my opinion. Take that $4,000 stealth. Not impressed me. Are the Meze Elite worth $4,000? He may have considered them at a better price. Yeah. That's my JTB. That is my number one complaint about all things Meze is they're great products, but they're too much. They charge a little too much for what they are. And that's the truth. I don't think that it's a $4,000 headphone. I think it's like a $3,000 headphone, maybe even, $2,500, $3,000, somewhere in there. of all the headphones I have, look what's sitting at the ready. Look what's sitting at the ready. That's how much I like these. They have near world-class bass. They're not, you know, like, I get a little better bass detail and texture out of some of my other headphones, but the bass for quantity, and there's good detail. It's just not like up in that upper echelon. They're fast, but they're not like world-class fast. But they're the most comfortable headphone of any headphone. They are the best engineered of any headphone by far. They are they're not going to like weight your head down incredibly. They're the perfect weight. They, you know, everything else. They're a great, and all around, the tuning is fantastic. The technicals are not in that upper echelon. They're not up with the Susvara. They're not up with the 1266, technically. But the tuning is better even than those two headphones. Like the basic tuning, I think, is better than either of those headphones, just for tuning, in my opinion. So it's a perfect tuned headphone that needs no equalization at all for me. And they've got world-class comfort. Are they technically as good as the others? No. But I use them more. And you can drive them with anything. That's the other thing. You can drive them with anything. So I'm still looking. I'm waiting for the market to get a little saturated with the Lyric, because as a closed back, the Lyric is about as close to perfect for me as I've heard. But it's got a build of like an $800 headphone. Like, it feels like an $800 headphone. It sounds like the Noir. It's like the Noir. So, you know, but I think it's got a little, I think it's just slightly faster than the Noir, because it is planar magnetic. So maybe Noir's not planar magnetic. I think it's dynamic. But yeah, so it's a great headphone, and I just think that it's a great headphone at about $800. It's not a great headphone at $2,000. Like, look at the other builds that are out there at $2,000, and I'm like, it's just not this. That's not this. So I'm waiting for a used set to come up at about $1,000, maybe $1,100, $1,200, something like that. When they fall to that level, and they will, because all Mezes do. All Mezes resell. Like, you can get original Empyrean right now for $1,500. If you're diligent and are willing to wait a little bit, you can get the original Empyrean for about $1,500, and they're a steal at that price. That's a great price for that headphone. New, it's $3,000. Not worth it. But used, $1,500, yeah. It's worth it just to have a comfortable pair like that on your head, and they do sound really good. The Empyrean and the Elite, difference between the Empyrean and the Elite is technicals. So the technicals are better on the Elite. The Elite gets you close enough to that top tier to basically justify owning them. Like, I don't have any guilt listening to the Elite, knowing that the 1266 is up there, because we're talking about, you know, like that upper 10% of detail isn't quite there on the level with those top tiers, but the tuning's better. So, you know, you're changing it. Daniel Foster, what he loves about this show is that he never walk away as though Michael is not selling me anything. Well, that's the one thing I told Daniel, you're coming in late, but that's what there's no store attached to this show. And most of the other shows, I'm trying to think, except maybe Zeos's, because Zeos I don't think has a direct, you know, unless you get into Patreon or whatever. But and I don't do Patreon. But the other shows are tied to selling stuff. That's how they make their money, by selling stuff. So I don't. I'm like, I just tell you what I think. Now, people can say I'm full of shit, and they're probably most of the time right. But I at least I do everything I can to keep the bias out. ML Jenkins, his favorite headphone to walk around with. Oh, what's his favorite headphone? Oh, the Meze Elite. Yeah. ML Jenkins, you and I are thinking just the same. Daniel Foster wants Abyss to put out a closeback. I don't know if they're engineered for that over there. I suppose they can do anything they want if they put their head to it. Audio fool. Is he late? We're about to wrap up here. Holy God, I got a lot of things to go through real quick. One more subscriber and Michael actually can level up. Yeah, Daniel Foster knows he's late. Hit those like buttons. We're still at $39.99, folks. I want to get off the air before I trip that wire. Victor Ennis, he thinks he wants an open back because he makes a living with his ears and he doesn't want to be assaulted by sound. Natural and easygoing. Well, honestly, you can... It comes down to what do you want to spend. And, the ALS is a great headphone. You were talking about that. That's probably... that's probably the one. That's probably a pretty good thing for what you're looking for. They're not overly analytical because they are a dynamic driver headphone. It comes down to and how much of bass you like, because you might want something that's got a little more bass cannon, in which case you'd look at something else. Anyway, JTB says we need that subscriber number at the telethon. Come on, you can do it, America. You can do it, world. We're out international. Saudi Arabia, please put me over. Only you can stop forest fires. No, I'm just kidding. Price range, yeah, that's what we're talking about. 1,000 to 1,500. Yeah, the ALOS. I haven't heard it, so I can't tell you that's definitely the headphone. For me, what I've heard in that range would be this. The only thing I would say about this is that tiniest bit bright. Everything else about this headphone, and these are heavy. They're comfortable, but they're heavy. That's in that range. I would say the Aeon Noir is a phenomenal headphone. And for the basic headphone, you have that and probably save a little extra money for an amp. If you had a little more to spend, I'd tell you to definitely check out the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. That is probably the bang for the buck champ right now of everything I've heard. If I had to tell you, like, the nexus between going to that upper level, it's like got enough of the upper level in it, and yet it's still at that, just at the entry level to the higher end price. You're getting a lot of headphone for that money. That would be my recommendation. If you can squeeze out a little extra, but there you go. Daniel Foster is looking for close-back planar that exceeds the COS ESP9s. I don't know. I haven't tried the ESP9s from COS. Are those in-ears? No, it's a planar, so it's going to be an over-ear. And how much do you want to spend? I don't know, Daniel. Victor Ennis is thinking of dynamic. Okay. He's thinking of a dynamic only because he hears it's not so clinical and assaulting on the ears. Well, yeah, I've heard both. I think that's not specific to any certain type of headphone. The nice thing is about the planars is you get all that speed. But a headphone like the HE1000 V1, I would say, was not an assault on the ears. It was a buttery smooth headphone with magnificent detail. And that, the HE1000 V2 is might be my all-time favorite headphone. I don't own it anymore. I sold it so I could get into some other gear. Very good, though. JTB planar, Hifiman Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. Yeah. Is the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition only $1,300? If it is, that's a no-brainer. I would tell you to go for that 8 days a week. That headphone sounds so good, but I thought it was higher. I thought it cost more than that, JTB. Real quick, I'm going to look it up because I think it's up a little higher than that. Oh, it's on sale. Yeah, normally they're $1,600. You can get them on Audio 46 right now. Has it for 18% off at $12.99. I don't know if my coupon code will work, but you can get another 5% off if you did that. Director's Garage, all one word at checkout. Use the links below. Victor. I'm having fun. That is a great price, though. That's a great price, and that's a great headphone. That's the headphone. If you're asking me where to jump in, that's where I would tell you to jump in. The water's really warm there. ZMF, yeah, he's talking about the Aeolus. That's the other thing. Yeah, but I would tell you, of everything I've heard recently, the V3 Aria Stealth Magnet is the way to go. Yeah, especially at that price. That's a great price, $1,300. I might want one of them. Stephen Kett, Michael, he would love to put me over 4,000 if he could, but he already subscribed. It's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive this time, guys. I'm going to start winding it down. JTB says, take your time, do some research. Yeah. And listen to people. Don't listen to me. Listen to other people too. Listen to, get involved. Read Headfi. Get into some of the threads there. Check that out. There are other reviewers that put stuff up that are really good and cool. And check out Curl Wong. He probably done that headphone. He's really good. One of the best technical dudes. I'm like the listening dude. I'm a practical guy. I'm the guy who uses this stuff, you know, in my job, but not, I don't do this for a living. And Curl Wong is like the technical, like knows every technical thing about every technical headphone ever. Like he's like the dude. So check out him, and he's not going to sell you anything either. That's the other thing I like about Curl Wong. But brilliant guy. Like if I could collab with somebody, but he doesn't even know I exist. It's like so like going to the prom. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of reviews. Okay. Perspective and opinions. I'm just doing the last couple of things here. It's been called a baby Susvara. Yes. Since we're not opening a new topic, I'm going to try and get off the air so the director can go get some dinner. And I can let you guys resume your week. I want to thank you guys. We're going to get the music going, and then I'll say all the spiel. Why, my eyes have just had it today. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to start this. Okay. I want to thank you guys for stopping by today. And thank you for my supporters who, going to jump back, Daniel Foster and Matthew Hilty for donating. Super appreciate that. They tipped their waiters and waitresses on the way out the door. It's nice to see. Really, we do this every week. And for those of you who are new, come on back. We sit around and we shoot the shit. And sometimes it's about audio, sometimes it's not. We're not like super. This is a casual bunch. And you know, there's other shows that will do the big, like, focus on every little thing about headphones. We love talking headphones. We love talking music, though. And I think after this next episode, which should be out tomorrow or Friday, if you know I don't quite make it tonight for some reason, we'll have some music to talk about next week. I think we'll all want to talk about it. So, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for walking me up to that 3,999 number. We made it! And I'll have the next episode is going to be coming out in the next couple of days. And then next week we go live again. We do this every week. Come on by, tell your friends. We're just hanging out. It's just a place to blow off some steam and get away from the bullshit, from the bull stuff that we see on TV all the time, all right? And also celebrate that we're halfway done with our incredibly painful work weeks. Thank you guys again for stopping by, and I will see you guys, you know the rest, before you know it. And that's not going to do it. One of these days.